My name is Jesse Schrader, and I'd like to welcome you to your Safety and Confidentiality Virtual In-Service for 2019. As you are all aware, we've made some departmental changes to our protocols and procedures that affect our student staff, and we wanted to let you know that your safety has been our number one concern from day one, and that as we continue to evaluate and change any protocols and procedures, your safety will still be our top priority. We never want to put you in a position to be unsafe. For our resident assistants watching this video, you know your rounds are now done as a pair. We don't do rounds individually anymore. This will be the case throughout the rest of this semester and into the 2019-2020 academic year and beyond. This is a universal expectation for all of our communities, and unless you're directed to do rounds individually by a pro staff member, there is no exception to this rule. For our desk staff, you are sitting the desk from 7 to 7:30 and 9 to 9:30, a little bit later in the Lancer Park community, while the RAs are doing their duty rounds when they traditionally would be sitting the front desk. This provides us with continuous desk coverage. That way there's always someone for a student to go to while we normally have desk hours. This will also continue into the 2019-2020 academic year and beyond. When we gave this information to you all, we also, in the traditional RCL manner, asked for your feedback and how we could better keep you safe or what ideas you all had. And a lot of you asked a simple question of what can we do? Our answer, to keep it simple, was to communicate. We want you to keep communication at the forefront of your decision making when you're working in your position as a student staff member or when you're just being a regular student. Letting people know what's going on is the best way for us to keep you safe. We do that through a variety of different manners, and our first way is through our communication log. Make sure when you're working at the front desk in any capacity that you're noting all activity from your shift. There should never be a time when you write NA, nothing happened, or all quiet. You are always doing something on your shift. You need to document that. You need to make sure you're writing clearly and neatly so everyone on your staff and other professional staff members can understand what you've actually written. Make sure you take detailed notes as events occur while you're working at the front desk so you can accurately fill out your communication log. There's an expectation that you read the previous shift's log entries as you come to the desk to work. Please make sure that you take a little bit of advice from me and read every log entry since the last time you worked at that front desk. That way, since the last time you left until just arriving for your newest shift, you know everything that has happened at your front desk. The next way we communicate is through our incident reports. We ask that you please write these clearly so that everyone who needs to read these reports understands the incident and clearly grasps the situation at hand. We provide several resources for you. On Canvas, we have your IR writing cheat sheet and the entire module on IR writing that you can refer to at any time if you need a refresher or need any help. We want to make sure you're documenting all necessary and pertinent information from the incident. That way we have everything we need to follow up and make sure that these incidents are handled in the proper manner. A little tidbit from me is to make sure you proofread your narrative. Go ahead and write it in Microsoft Word or in another word processor and read through it, check for typos, but then take your text and put it into Google Translate and listen to it. Listening to it will help you catch typos a lot better and a lot faster than just you reading over the same things you've just written. We talk about communication, we also talk about calling resources in to help you. As you have your REC during the daytime hours, during our regular shifts, you also have the REC on call 24/7. You can always call the duty phone anytime you need assistance, as well as us calling LUPD when we do need that assistance as protocol dictates. When we're talking about LUPD, we mentioned during WTLW that there might be some changes coming down the pipe. And for LUPD, those changes have occurred and have been in full swing now. Our dispatchers for the Longwood University Police Department that were traditionally under the dining hall in where we called dispatch for LUPD, they're no more. Our dispatchers are now the same dispatchers for the town of Farmville, and they are effectively known as the Farmville Communications Center. So when you call for LUPD assistance, you're speaking to a dispatcher for the town of Farmville. That being said, all of our functions remain the same when calling for LUPD assistance. The Farmville Communications Center will not be sending a Farmville officer to you to assist. They will be sending Longwood University Police Department officers to Longwood University incidents to assist. If there is ever an issue or some sort of hang up with working with the Farmville Communications Center when you're calling for assistance, please let your REC and or the REC on call know so we can better assist in this manner and make sure the little kinks that we're seeing are getting taken care of. Another way we communicate for our student safety reasons is a trespass list. When LUPD bans someone from campus for an activity or an action that's deemed inappropriate, Chief Beach updates our department, and immediately afterwards we update that list in Mercury. We sent you a Canvas announcement about this a little bit ago, and it tells you in detail how to access that information. You are expected to familiarize yourself with this list every shift so you can dive in and make sure that there's no new people on that list that you may have had or may have seen in a hallway, and to make sure we're calling LUPD if we see people who are on our trespass list. As we make additions in real time, we will not be updating you every time the list is updated. It just updates automatically, so you're expected to look at that every time you work. A couple of safety tips for us as we start talking a little bit more about safety is if you're walking to your car alone, you can contact the Longwood University Police Department to get an escort. Nothing's changed with that. Please go ahead and call 2091 and ask one of the dispatchers from the communication center that you would like an escort to your vehicle because you don't feel safe. Chief Beach has assured us in the Farmville and Longwood University Town Hall meeting that this service will continue to happen for our students, so we say go ahead and use it for yourselves and to let other students know that this service exists. And as always, if something doesn't seem right, you need to call it in immediately. Call LUPD, call the REC on call, let your REC know, whatever you need to do to make sure we can keep our students safe. The second part of our in-service today talks about confidentiality. As each of you came into the position, you signed a confidentiality agreement, and we have those on file. To make this in layman's terms, you cannot give out student information or information about incidents or any information at all. Federally, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, affectionately known as FERPA, is what makes it so we can't give information out about anything. In your roles as student staff members, you have access to a lot of information on the students in your community. That information is listed on the screen. You have their names, their L numbers, their room assignments, where their apartments are located, their cell phone numbers, their gender is listed on our roster, their age, birthday, credit hours, if they have an emotional support animal, and their Longwood email. All of this information cannot be shared with anyone who does not have the right to have this information. For example, if someone wants any details about guest check-in, anything at all with it, we don't share it. If someone asks you for a student's email, we don't give that out either. If they want to know a room number for a student, we can't give that out. If they ask if a certain person lives in the building you're working in, you can't answer that question either. We essentially do not share with anyone, unless it is an RCL professional staff member or a Longwood University Police Department officer. People who you normally work with who are working in their capacity to work with an incident may ask you to pull information for them. If that happens, please give them the information. For everybody else, you can ask the person why they might need this information, and you can still tell them no. But if you're in doubt, contact your REC or the REC on call, and we'll walk you through whether they can have that information or not. Continuing with that, though, we still don't share other ways as well. We don't post any confidential information on social media simply because it's not allowed. It's in your contract. We don't text it to our friends, things we know. We don't put it anywhere in an email to other people we know. We don't share it at all. As a student staff member for RCL, you are privy to a lot more information than most students get, and we like to keep it that way. Your friends may, want to know everything that's going on, but you can't share it. If we give you information behind the front desk or in an email from your supervisor or from the department, that's for you to know as you're working for our department, not to share with everybody else. This is the end of our virtual in-service today. Please make sure you take the quiz associated with this in-service after this video is ended. And as always, if you have any questions, please see your professional staff supervisor. Thank you and have a good night.